Welcome back to Wellness with Delaney. Today we have a really different and exciting episode. I'm with Ross Mandell. Some know him as the bad boy of Wall Street. I've heard the original Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, this man is an absolute legend when it comes to building wealth, and his story is really going to inspire you guys. So if you want to up-level your financial health or just hear a really crazy cool story, make sure you tune in. Ross, thank you so much for joining.
Delaney, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited to chat with you. So, okay, upon a super simple like Google search, I see Ross Mandell, Bad Boy of Wall Street, Original Wolf of Wall Street. I see all these things. Like your digital footprint is pretty strong. And I know you have a crazy story to go with it. Can you just give me the background of how you got where you are today?
Well, that would take us about a couple of months. I was a good kid. My father passed away when I was 16, and I just went crazy. I lost it. I was a great little student, not the most intellectual, but I was the hardest working. And I was a great athlete, wrestling, football. I'm a physical type guy, love physical sports. And he passed away, and I became I just couldn't handle the feelings that I had. And I just sort of went crazy. I was angry at God, angry at the world, poor me, etc. And I just literally went off the rails. I was very aggressive. Uh, I I I wanted what I saw. I like to say I was a giant id. So I saw attractive women. I'm 16. I'm at that age. So I just always wanted to be with the prettiest girls and the nicest cars, people that lived in the nicest neighborhoods and the nicest houses. And at some point, I go to school, somehow figure out how to graduate high school, barely. I got through college at 3.5 years, barely. Studied nothing but partying, fun. But I was a cool guy, and a lot of the sort of ambitious, aggressive, cool young men were attracted to me because I was pretty much a party guy, always around beautiful women. And I always managed to have, even though I didn't come from money, we had nothing. I managed to finagle and operate, and I was always into business stuff. When we were kids, we would throw parties, and all the kids would come, and we would charge $10, that kind of a thing. 1,000 kids would show up. So that's how I got through college. I was part of that crowd, and then I graduate school, and everybody was very worried. What is poor Ross going to do? Everybody knew that I had problems, but I was such a good kid. Before my father passed away, I got a pass from a lot of people, and I was brought into a family business, sort of at a charity, and they really expected me to fail, and they felt obligated to give me an opportunity because it was family. They loved my father, you know, they knew my mother, etc. And they set me on the road, and I came back with $1 million order, and I became the biggest salesman in the whole operation, not even really understanding what I'm doing.
Wow.
And the thing with me, Delaney, is I like people. Like I said to you before the cameras were on, I'm a chatty guy. I love people. I love to talk to people. It doesn't matter if you sweep the streets, you're a janitor and you fix toilets, or you are the CEO or chairman of a Fortune 500 company, because I count both as people in even my current orbit. I'm 68 years old today. And so I got a call from a friend of mine. A lot of the guys that I hung out with in college discovered something called Wall Street. I knew nothing about it, but I got a stock tip in when I was 22. Just got out of school, and I had like a few dollars, like I think $1,500. I put into a stock. I knew nothing about the company, and we made like 20 grand. And this was in 1982.
Oh my
And
goodness.
if you study the financial markets, that was the beginning of this great bull market that's going on right now. By the way, we hit new highs this morning on the Nasdaq. I think we made 3, 4 new highs this week. The Dow's making new highs. The S&P, the OEX, the markets are booming. But back in before 1982, the markets were the playground of the very rich, the wealthy. Wealth was passed on generation to generation. You're a kid, you inherited a big cattle farm, or etc. And back in the end of the 70s, a bunch of very aggressive young men got cold calling approved. There was no cold calling of securities. And the FTC approved it, and they worked with the SEC, et cetera. A bunch of guys started cold calling. So for the first time in history, Wall Street was being introduced to Main Street. If you could come up with 10 grand, you can have an account. We're going to show you how to make money. And I had my best friend from college left his business. He was selling schmatters in the apparel market, the garment center. I was selling ladies' handbags, but I was making 150 grand a year. I'm 23 years old. I have an American Express. I could bang that out for $4 grand a month. They bought me a brand new car. I had an apartment in Manhattan. It was the disco era, Studio 54, Xenon, and Magique. All disco was cool. The Bee Gees, Saturday Night Fever, all that kind of stuff. John Travolta. And so Grease, I know all the girls loved Grease with Olivia Newton-John. This was all this wild magic time in America. And we go out to dinner. He treats me out to dinner. He says he's making 400 grand this year. I said, 400 grand? I was making 150 grand, and I was bragging about it. I was proud. I was working, but what do you do? He goes, well, I sit in the office. I have to be in by 8. That was tough in the morning in those days. And I make cold calls. And what do you do? Well, we sell stocks and sell securities. I don't even know what the hell it is. And I just knew that I had put up some money, like $1,000, and walked away with almost $20,000. It got my interest. I researched it, but because I had a drug problem and even my closest friends knew it, nobody would help me.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't vouch for me. And but I'm that kind of a guy. When there's a bee in my bonnet, I had a chip on my shoulder. So, okay, you don't want to help me? Screw you. And I went in and I somehow talked my way into the E.F. Hutton training program. And I started my career on Wall Street in August of 1983. You took it 42 years ago. And from that first day, that became my obsession. I watch all your posts, Delaney. You're fantastic. And
Oh,
now
thank you.
you're obsessed with meat.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to that, you were obsessed with something else, correct?
Yeah, obsessed with veganism prior to that, believe it or not.
I was shocked. And I think you connect with the kind of person I am. I get it. We're like all in kind of people, ride or die, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it became not, I never worked a day in my life. Work is an ugly word. I do business. I have passion and projects. But the second I think of something as work, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm the
mean,
same way.
as an adult, I just hire people. I don't really do work. This is my life. We're in and out of this world in a very short period of time. Father Time is undefeated. I have no interest in being miserable during this period of time. I have a great thing is, you go to any cemetery, you see a tombstone, date of birth, March 18th, 1957, then there's a hyphen, and then there's an end date. Well, two things. Firstly, Father Time is undefeated. We all die. But I've come to learn that not everybody lives.
That's
Not
true.
everybody lives. There was a famous movie, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, two of the greatest actors of my time. Bucket List or something, or The Bucket List. Everybody talks about, what's your bucket list? What's on your bucket list? They would talk about that. And I don't have a bucket list. My bucket list is my life. If there's something I really want to do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm going to do what I have to do to make it happen, because that's just the way I feel. I'm speaking just from my own experiences, my own feelings. And so I buckled down and I started cold calling, smiling and dialing. And I really love people, and you have to get licensed and you have to become learned in this business between stocks and bonds and indexes. And you have to know your customer. There's a million rules and regulations. It's highly regulated, even more than medicine, if you can imagine. People consider their money before their health, before anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see some obese person in this, the supermarket or in a theme park or anywhere in life. They know exactly how much money they have in their pocket, usually in their bank account, in their savings account, how much stock they own, how much mortgage they have. It's crazy that we inventory our finances, but people disregard health, family, God. I'm going to use God. Some people think it's a dirty word. Religion. I'm very spiritual. Okay, so I discover Wall Street, and I go to EF Hutton. It's one of the top two training programs in the world. I become a star, number one in my class nationwide in new accounts, number two in gross production. The only guy that outproduced me had a $500 million trust fund. His parents owned the Cincinnati Reds baseball team, and he would just trade his own account. And I was just calling people out of the phone book. And initially I tried to put on airs. I
Mhm.
tried to act like I was more educated, more learned, more sophisticated, smoother, cooler, you know. And I recognized quickly that that was a losing proposition for me.
Mm.
I realized that I can relate to people in my own way. And that's when I understood the power of authenticity and intention.
Yeah, for real.
Now, those are two words that I didn't think about when I was 23, 24, 25 years old. They were not even on my map and my radar, authenticity and intention. But something in the human brain knows when it's being communicated to in a truthful, real way. And we sense when something's not authentic. And what I've come to learn through study that is now because of connectivity and things like Google, the internet, technology, we have so much education. There's so much information, so much data that we all vibrated frequencies, and the highest frequency they say is authenticity. Well, back when I was cold calling, I call up, I dial my phone the first time. Guy answered the phone. I was so nervous, I hung up. My hands
Oh, you hung up and look where
I
you were.
hung up. And then
Crazy.
I was in a room with 150 people, and there was a dais, a podium up front with 20 senior brokers, and everyone had a big number on their table, and that you could see it, and you would raise your hand when you had a guy pick up the phone, potential lead, and they would listen to how you talk to them. And so everybody's raising their hands, and they could tap a number, and they could listen in. And I finally get a guy to answer the phone, and I hang up. My hands are sweating, and I don't perspire like that. I don't have those kind of fears. Like I have different kind of fears. I have fears that nobody, we're all strange cats. Everybody is unique, right? And
Mm.
so I go, damn it, because everybody's raising their hand and people are listening in and they're getting scored, and I got nothing. So I dial. I get another guy on the phone. He picks up the phone. I'm like, I hang up the phone. I'm having like an anxiety attack, and I'm wearing my suit and my tie, and I'm on Wall Street, and there's literally 150 people in the room, and I'm being graded like. And I said, "You got to tighten up, bro. This is my self talk has always been very good." And again, another combination of words I never heard of when I was in my self talk. This is all learned stuff, right? And so I got myself pumped up. I dialed the phone. I got a guy on the phone. I raised my hand, and I'm giving him my spiel. My name is Ross Mandell. I'm an associate broker at EF Hutton and Company in New York. How are you today, Mr. Jones? Listen, I know that your time is very valuable, and I'm not looking to waste your time. 2, 3 minutes, if you have. Do you invest in the stock market? And I'm like fumbling my way through it, and I very quickly learned because people would ask me, "So, are you a successful broker? How long you been doing this?" And you train to lie. They
Yeah.
want you to act as if you're a senior guy and you've been doing this for years and you have an unblemished track record and all these fancy things. And I quickly learned that I'm really bad at that. And I'll never be as slick as some of these guys that were next to me. And back then, the stock market was booming. 1982, it started.
Mhm.
It took I think 150 years for the market to go to 1,000.
Wow.
Then it went like 5 years it took to go to 2,000. I started when the Dow Jones was 1,000.
Mhm.
I think it's around 44, 45,000 today.
That is so crazy. And you know what? I feel like it's a superpower to not be able to lie, to be like, for you to be forced to be authentic in this season. I feel like that's a superpower because people don't want to hear lip service anymore. Like people do want like honest, raw, true, like communication. So I don't know. You say this and I'm like, I feel like that's probably your superpower.
It became my superpower. And the more raw I get and the more open and honest I get, the further I move in life and in every aspect of like business, finance with women. I
Hmm.
was 5'9". I was cute. I was a muscular, because I was an athlete. But I mean, I felt like I was competing with guys 6'3", 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome. I was never that.
Yeah.
And I would, see a girl like you in the hallway in high school. Like I wanted to be with you. I wanted to take you out. I wanted you to be, to like me. And I, quickly had to I found out that I was always authentic and I was good at being me. And that's why like today, I thought there was we made this podcast schedule a few weeks back or a few months back. I thought I was hosting today. And so when I host, I have to prepare a lot, right? I prepare.
Sure.
I have respect for my guest. I do some research. And then right up until last night, when you made a post on the story and you said, I'm hosting Roast Mandell. So I called my team. I said, I thought I'm the host. And they said, no, you're a guest. And like, I felt relief wash over me because all I
Yeah.
got to do is talk and be me.
No research required. Just get to be yourself and share your heart with the audience.
And when you put on an act, that's work.
Yeah,
That's stress.
for sure.
I just got to be me. And I'm really good at being me.
Good. And that's so good. I love that because like really, I don't want people to come on here over researched and over prepared. I'm like, no, because then you miss out. Like I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to be able to have those real conversations. And you can always tell when someone's a little too researched and like a little too scripted. I'm like, no, that's not the vibe of this show. So I'm glad that you
It's so
come here
true.
just authentically.
I have people that come on and they start with the same bullshit, the same choreographed lines, and I love to break them down and get them off their game and and
Yeah.
and and find out who they really are. Stop
Hmm.
pitching me. Let's
Yeah.
people are interested in real stuff, and
1000%.
and it's funny because I feel like social media is at a point now where people are looking. They're tired of guys standing in front of a private jet, in front of a Lamborghini, in front of a big house, all this bull that who
Hmm.
cares about? People wanna know about real life. That's what I love about you. I
Oh,
love
thank
that
you.
you have a very real, raw way. And, I building a company, a media company. It's new media for the new age, and we call it Raw Media is the name of the company. And we're building a big health and wellness division called Raw Health. Because everything we say and do is raw, it's real, it's gritty, and the second it comes out of our mouths, it's real,
Yeah, I
not
love that.
polished. You know what I'm saying? It's not Hollywood. It's raw. It's not Madison Avenue. And so that's what I love about what the kind of businesses that we're building now in this new age. People want to hear from Delaney, from Ross, real stuff, not
Mhm.
some scripted crap that some suit, in some office somewhere is figured out. This is what we think that you should talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's so important. I feel like you learned that lesson at a really young age from what I'm hearing and, looking where you are now, what a great lesson to learn. Okay,
And
so
I
I'm
was
s
also pretty much drugged up
wow.
a good deal of my that time. From the time I was 16 and my father passed till I was 33, I was pretty much stoned every day.
Mhm.
I don't want to say pretty much. I don't want to lie. I was stoned every day.
And you
Um,
still managed to build an empire.
I managed to get in a lot of trouble, but I managed. I'm a great earner, and I did
Mhm.
manage to make millions of dollars. And I had $1,500 in my account when I started the fund in 1983. And by March 18th, 1987, I had $30 million in my account.
Wow. How did you do it? Like, how did you build your first million?
And the first million is the hardest. There's no question. But back in those days, I didn't think like that. I just said, let's see what I can do. And I woke up every morning, 5 in the morning, no alarm clock. But in those days, I was some nights not sleeping, doing cocaine all night, going on benders, drinking every night, smoking marijuana, taking pills, all this stuff. So I have different segments of my life. During those days, I was running and gunning. I was just wild. And all the trouble I ended up getting to in my later life is a result of the wreckage of my past, the stuff that happened from 83 right up until 90 when I went to rehab and got sober. So I went from 1,500 to 30 million in liquid net worth. And then by the time October of 1990 came, I was down to $4,000 net worth, and I owed over $1 million. So I was way negative net worth. And I should have declared bankruptcy, but I never did. I got clean. I engaged cash register honesty. That's a term they use. And I became all in the 12-step program, my recovery. I went into psychotherapy for 7 years. Like I said, when I do something, I do it. And I became sort of a rock star on Wall Street, first American to bring a regulated American business public on a foreign stock exchange. And I did it on the London Stock Exchange, which is the most prestigious. And I did it twice before anybody else did it once.
Wow.
And, raised billions of dollars and I achieved all my dreams that I didn't even really have because I never thought I could marry a woman like Stephanie and have these 2 beautiful daughters and own 4 homes and have a private jet and a yacht and a little Jack Russell Terrier and all these wonderful things that came into my life as a result of being clean, focused, sober, and having my feet on the ground. But early on, I was every day woke up and said, how am I going to make money today? And that's the beautiful thing about my philosophy in business. I've never had a salary. My first salary was when I paid myself $2.5 million a year from 2 companies, $1.25 million from each company. Actually, the board authorized it. But of course, I had a lot of influence on the board. They were my companies, essentially. And otherwise, I never got paid a salary. I never wanted anybody to tell me what I could earn. I never understood that. I never understood that. What do you mean? I want to buy a nice car. I need money. Well, you gonna give me an extra 100 a week? I mean, what is that? I mean, I felt that was like peasant thinking.
Yeah.
I always had commission. And even when I had a sort of a salary, I always got commission on that. And I thought of the salary as money I could just, it was nothing. And I think from a financial standpoint, that's what people have to understand, wellness with Delaney. And I love what you said on that story. What is wellness? Wellness is being okay, being the best version of you can be. And if you wake up every day with that philosophy and you have no money, you're behind the 8 ball, in my opinion, already.
Yeah.
You should have 4 legs to your table. And there's mental, there's emotional, there's spiritual, and there's physical. How can you be mentally okay if you're broke or if you're living check to check?
It's so stressful. It's like a constant cortisol nightmare to
Eh,
be factoring that into every decision you ever make. I mean,
You're a slave.
yeah,
Excuse me, master. I don't feel good. Can I go home? Excuse me, master. I need money. There's an emergency in my family. I need someone. I need $5,000 for somebody. What is that? I mean, I never understood that concept. I
yeah,
get up every day to this day. And I'm 68. And I was in prison, federal prison. And I still wake up. What can I do today? So I'm 23, 24 years old. I'm on Wall Street. I have a few dollars and I'm listening and I'm working. I'm dialing the phone. Again, I don't like the word work. I'm dialing. I'm doing business, getting leads. And then I'm going out with guys to the spots, shaking hands, to all of those times I'm drinking, I'm drugging. So I'm drinking and drugging with guys that make shit happen. These are guys that drive, $150,000 cars. live in, $5 million homes, the best neighborhoods, have the hottest girlfriends, wives, etc. That's who I wanted to be around. That's how I thought. I was very primal. And you'd be surprised when you have that attitude and you seek out like minded people to that extent, you will find people that know how to get shit done. And
Mm.
that's why I offer mastermind programs today and mentorship programs, because that's how I move forward in my life. I would literally knock on a door. Mike Cavanaugh, a big shout out, and say, "Can I just sit and listen to you talk on the phone? I won't say a word. I
Wow.
want you to understand how men handle themselves."
That's
You know
so
what?
important.
Correct. When I saw men that were always, with great looking women like Delaney,
Thank you.
I would say, "Who are you? Like, what do you do?" I mean, you're with the prettiest girl. And I would look to learn. Knowledge for the most part is free. While mentorship, masterminds, these things cost money. If
Mhm.
you're not getting back 5x, 10x, and you get the wrong guy,
Yeah.
or the wrong women, the wrong guy, you pick somebody that's unable to relay that information that you need. I've learned that people that really know are great teachers. It's easy. But if you can't explain something to a kindergartner, you don't really know it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's like
think you
that
know.
judge the fruit by the tree, right? Like, I'm not going to take health advice from somebody who is 30 pounds overweight, cystic acne on antidepressants. It's the same thing with your finances, with your career, with
Right.
everything. Like, judge the fruit by the tree and really get discerning about who's mentoring you because you do become your circle. I think that's so major. So so for you, let's say you're starting all over again, right? Like if you were doing this now in 2025 and building your empire, what would you do? Like how would you start?
Okay, so I'm actually doing that. I just got out of federal prison. I'm just finishing probation. This might be my last day of probation. Very possible. I filed in court to terminate. I'm way past the
Congratulations.
statutory minimum. Yes. And so what I would look to do is uh, I want to be in business, right? I'm not interested in working for somebody. So I would have to look at the world and say, where is the next great opportunity? So I've done that. And media is the greatest opportunity of all time right now. What you're doing, what I'm doing, podcasting. For the first time in human history, Delaney, for the first time in human history, the whole world is literally connected. You can now communicate with 8 billion people. Some shepherd's son in the Gobi Desert, if he has a little cheap cell phone and a hotspot, he could watch this podcast.
Crazy.
He could access Brad Lee or Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins. We have access now to everybody and anybody, direct access. So I'll give you an example. A guy I know wrote an amazing book called Blind Greed. His name is Lawrence Hartman. Crazy, crazy, cool, phenomenal story. Wrote an amazing book, and we're going to produce a movie. And I had to find a guy who could play Larry. We went on Instagram, found a guy, Michael Capon. Michael, big shout out. He was Filipino descent. He was a rock star. He lived in the NSYNC house. He was opening act for Bruno Mars when he went international. He's a singer, dancer, but he's an actor. He walked the red carpet 2 weeks ago, and it's his second film released this year. He's done 5 in the last 4 years. He
Wow.
acts, he directs, he produces, he co-produces. Brilliant young man, dear friend, part of Raw Media. We're producing Blind Greed. Found him on Instagram. We set up social media platforms. Found people to help me because what do I know about editing and all these different things? And I don't really know how to post very well. I was so impressed with the way you put the story up.
Oh, thank you.
Every time I do something, my team starts yelling at me, "Stop touching this. Stop. Why'd you say this? Why'd you send that? Delete this, delete that." So I found people that will uh, do these things with me and for me. And I made a deal, make a business deal, come to an arrangement. If you want to know more, reach out to me, info@rossmandell.com, 2 S's, 2 L's. We'll show you. I'm available for mentorship and mastermind programs, and set up a website, set up my social media sites, because communication's critical. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. You're a doctor. Guess what? You better advertise online. You're a lawyer, you're a home improvement guy. You sell insurance, you sell stocks, you sell bonds, you sell cemetery shit. I mean, you're a pocket, whatever it is, to be able to communicate, to build a following. Doesn't that make sense?
Hmm. It's free
So that's
market.
what I did. I set all that up. I happen to have a huge history in and around the financial markets because I was in the front page of Wall Street Journal 6 times for good, bad, and ugly. I've been in the front page of over 100 newspapers in over 130 countries, way before they had social media. If they had social media in the 80s, I would be a Kardashian. I would be Mr. Beast. You know, I got into all kinds of trouble. I was very colorful, throwing money around. I'd spend 100 grand on a weekend often because I was able to produce money because the stock markets, much like um, social media, you know, they talk about virality, right? You understand virality? You know, you posted a story. I saw it. I reposted that. It's been reposted 16 times, etc. I have 80,000 Instagram people that you'll understand. What people don't understand is the stock market taught me virality starting in 1983.
Okay, draw this connection for me. I'm very curious about
Okay,
this.
so you and I, we see a company and we understand it's really cool. Not inside information, but it's public information. But there's a lot of companies out there that aren't in the front headlines that everybody doesn't know. And you know, maybe a guy, you're out snorting cocaine one night, staying out all night. You're with the COO of that company, and you say this guy's a wreck, and you know that stock is probably not going to do so great. So you're short the stock. Stock goes down. What a surprise! You make money. You're out talking to people. One of the first hits I made was a small little company. They had the first uh, marijuana testing kit. We were out one night in some club or some bar or a fancy restaurant. Met this guy, was celebrating. He's got all these approvals, and they got a deal with, I think, CVS or Walgreens. They're gonna be in 10,000 stores. We bought the stock. It went up 20 points in a period of like 3 months.
Wow.
Um, I had a guy work for me, Ted. Can't think of his last name, but he was the number one banking analyst in America. And he spent a year just driving all across America and stopping at every single regional and community bank, waiting in the parking lot at closing time. Banks used to close at 3 o'clock. And he would see tellers and he'd say, "Excuse me, my name is Ted. I'm a banking analyst. Let me ask you a question. Is it always that quiet in there? Or do you always have so much business that you bank? I see lines of your bank and the bank across the street, there's nobody there." And he would write a report. And he was actually the dean of Columbia Law School. And he had to retire. He had to quit that job because he was making so much money in bank stocks. Because there's always a gimmick, a scheme. This is all legitimate ways to make money if you can get your hands on different information. You don't always have to be the first. It's
Hmm.
the same thing I always say. I never want to be the greatest wealth is created not by innovation, but by imitation.
Mm.
Take something that works and you bring it somewhere they don't have it,
Yeah.
right? Think about Starbucks in Paris. You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken opened up in China. They sell more chicken in China than anywhere else on earth combined. You know that?
Wow. I did not know that. That's crazy.
There's like 35,000 stores. And by the way, Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC till he was 65 years old.
Wow.
So don't make excuses. There's no excuses because you're old. I'm 68. I'm starting again in an odd way.
Yeah.
Not truly, because I have a whole, legacy, et cetera, behind me. But you understand the concept. I was $100 million+ was taken away from me by the government, including 112 months of my life. I want to get it all back. I'm very determined. And so I look at the world and I look for opportunities. Now, this business that we're in is unregulated. I That's very important when you look at the world. Do you want to be in a regulated business where people tell you what you can do, what you can't do, businesses become regulated because they become mature.
Hmm.
That's when the big boys come in, right? I asked you at the beginning of this podcast, language, cursing. Sometimes I do it on purpose to be specifically graphic to make a point, right? To get attention.
Yeah.
And but I'm going to refrain from that. uh, because I understand the concept of boundaries, and I respect you and your audience. And
Thank you.
it's really important to understand that the greatest opportunities come along in this world, and they're unregulated.
Mhm.
And the goal is to be in something that's unregulated, because sooner or later, when the big boys see that it definitely kicks off a lot of money, it's profitable, then they get involved, and all of a sudden they form organizations and associations and all kind of committees, and there's all kinds of regulations, and now there's barriers to entry.
Yeah.
I can curse all I want, and you could put it in, and it's fine. We're unregulated.
Yeah.
If we were on television, not true.
It's censored. Yeah.
If we're in the movies, it's not true. So this is now unregulated, and it's going to be like this probably throughout the length of the Trump administration. So we've got about 3.5 years left, and then it's 100% going to be regulated. So
Oh, for sure. I thought it was gonna be during the last administration. I mean, there
oh, they
was a
were
lot of
doing it.
censorship. Yeah. I thought it
They,
would be a lot worse though.
they wanted to control everything,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's the sort of aggressive uh, socialist end of the Democrat Party. And
Yeah.
because I'm a liberal as far as social issues, cultural issues, when it comes to anything financial, I'm extremely conservative. Save your money, take a minimum of 10% if you're on a salary, a monthly salary, and you put it away and you bury it and you forget you ever had it. And you let it
Mm.
work for you. You let it grow. The power of compounding is $500 a month just on a straight index fund yields you more than $1 million. If you do this from the time you're 20 to the time you're 60, you have over $1 million, and that's a conservative S&P index fund. A lot of the guys like Warren Buffett and even Jordy Belfort now, they don't want to answer questions. So that's what they tell you to do with your money. And I would absolutely tell you that's not true. You have to wake up every day and look for information. Look for a way to multiply your money.
Yeah.
They talk about balance. I don't understand the concept of balance. Balance comes when you've achieved all your life goals and now you want to create a balance. If you want to be
Sure.
wealthy, if you want to be famous, if you want to be genius, if you want to be a star, it means sacrificing a
You
few
have
of
to be a
the
little
eggs of the
psychotic.
table. There's
Yeah.
nothing else. This is my third podcast this week. I hosted two. I'm doing yours. The other 2 days, I've had meetings and putting together this media business. Where's my balance? I called my daughter last night for 3 minutes. She's moving today. She asked me if I want to help. I said, absolutely not. And she goes, okay, Dad, when we finish everything, then you'll come next weekend. I said, I'm so psyched. She
Yeah.
starts law school in 2 weeks in Nova in South Florida. But concept of balance exists when it can exist. But if you want to be special in some area of your life, that has to become a focal point, and you have to. I love when the women say, "Oh, I'm obsessed with this, this particular, dress or this accessory," and now they have these little stupid things, lullaboos or whatever they call it. They
Oh, I
see.
hate those. I hate them so much. I have a whole theory about them.
I understand. My whole family, the girls in my family are ordering them like crazy, and I'm like, I don't get it. It's just a waste of time and money. But
Oh, yeah.
good for them. Whatever they want to do, they're good people. They have balance. But Daddy has no balance. Daddy has to go kill the bear, bring home the fur, cook, provide the meat, all these good things. I'm an old-fashioned guy, and I believe that a man should be a man and a woman should be a woman. And you're a carnivore. I can't get over you.
Oh, well, I'm not okay, I'm not fully carnivore, but I would say I'm about 85%.
Thank
So I
God.
do eat yeah, I do eat a few plants, a few low toxin, but I always say I'm carnivore adjacent, and then I leave the room for, like, when I'm with family, so I don't hold them hostage to my diet, you know what I'm saying?
And you were a vegan.
I was a vegan for almost 5 years.
That's like almost torture, and it's not
It
healthy. I'm
was.
sorry, no matter what anybody says. You
Oh, I
probably
agree
feel
with
so
you.
strong right now.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I look at old photos and I'm like, I mean, if you had seen me back then, I guess you have seen some photos, like
Yes.
the
I
cystic
I see,
acne, the bloat.
I'm following
Yeah.
you. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah. And even like my skin, like I feel like I was more pale back then. It's
You
like
are.
so crazy how this diet has like changed my life. So yeah, no, I get it.
We
Like I'm obsessed
we
with it.
we were we were put on this earth as meat eaters.
Yep, I agree.
That's why we have canines in our mouth and all kinds of things. And I believe that, God's, created his creation's perfect. I mean that.
Mhm.
And the more we go through science, the more the science is starting to prove all the things that were in the Old Testament that really happened, et cetera. But I saw your training one day and you talk about the definition of like going to failure and you're on your knees in the gym, pushing a sled. Meat makes you strong.
Yep, it
And
really
I
does.
as you get older, it's harder to process meat, to digest meat. I noticed that, and I started eating more fish, but because I saw all these, meat posts that you make, and you make such beautiful, beautiful steaks. I mean, I'm
Oh,
gonna
thank
go
you.
after this podcast, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods. I'm gonna buy
Yeah,
some really, like, $50 steaks. I'm very excited.
that
But
sounds
but
amazing.
so, like, if you really wanna be wealthy, then that has to become a primary focus.
Yeah,
It's just like if you're sick and you're sick or you're in pain, you just got to get well. You rest in bed, you drink soup, you drink fluids, you take antibiotics. Being poor is a condition.
mm, and it's a state of mind.
Being middle class is a condition. My biggest fear in life was being mediocre.
Yeah,
I never wanted to be just another guy sitting on a porch talking about what I woulda, coulda, shoulda done.
yeah,
I'm gonna go get it. I'm just gonna
for
go get
sure.
it. And, so I'm on your podcast. It's gonna be broadcast nationally, maybe internationally, right?
Internationally, baby.
Raw media is coming. Raw health is coming. You're gonna see all these things explode right in front of your eyes, and that's what I've been working on for the last year. In the meantime, I said, "I'm gonna do a podcast." I've done over 90 podcasts
Wow,
in, like, 9 months. And,
incredible.
well, it's just, that's it, that's it. Yes, I haven't been meditating. Lately. I had to sacrifice a lot of the spirituality that I worked on over the years and some of my passions like reading. I don't have time for reading. I love
Yeah,
reading. I read classics and, I read Shakespeare when I was in prison and Tolstoy and Hemingway and, every biography you could think of. But, I do believe that if you're passionate about something, go for it. Don't be afraid. If you want to be wealthy, go for it. If you want to have $1 million buried where you're getting roughly 85 grand a year, tax free, delivered to your local account, you can do that. It's not that difficult.
yeah, this is important. And I think so much of it is mindset, and we're kind of digging into that. And I'm super curious what you think. I think we've kind of touched on this
Delaney,
question, but
Delaney, it's all mindset, not
it's all
kind of like
mindset. Oh,
it's
yeah.
all if you think it's so much money, if you think it's hard, if you think it's difficult, guess what? It is.
And you think, oh, that's their life, like lucky them, that mindset, right? I see this a lot. I see this a lot, like, oh, good for them. What would you say is the biggest mindset paradigm that is keeping the middle class in the middle class?
Belief. They have a false set of beliefs that have been sold to them by the ruling class. So
Mm,
period. It's very easy to know. They keep talking about how important the middle class is, every politician. They're all full of shit. The middle class is important if you want to be in charge of everything. No
mm,
one wants to be in the poor class, so you got to sell the middle class concept. It's
yeah.
just a giant horse. It's happy horse. Nobody wants to serve the rich. All Bernie Sanders is talking about the billionaires, the billionaires. Guy's worth, $30 million. Got multiple homes. He's talking about equity and equality.
Yeah. Isn't it always the richest people who are like, "Oh, these horrible billionaires, like all this." I'm like, What?" It's so crazy.
You
It's
see,
also the
it's not
billionaires
about
telling people to
money.
eat peasant food.
Let me say like this, Tony. It's not about, if you think about money, you'll never have any. It'll come and go. So that's another discipline that you have to learn. It's about becoming great at something. Whatever
Mm,
you're going to do, you've got to do it. If you're great, if you focus on greatness and you respect and understand capital, if you respect and understand money, you'll be wealthy. You have to focus on being great at something
I like
because
this.
money can come and go, but you can never say, like you said, about how hard it is. Is it really that hard to have $1 million? It's easy. Are you kidding? It's simple. But if you convince you, if you say it's hard, guess who's listening to you? You.
Yeah.
Nobody else cares what you say.
Yeah.
Nobody, not even your husband. He loves
Right.
you. He nods a lot, and he's worried about what he's worried about. But
Right.
you listen to every single thing that leaves your mouth. You record everything. Einstein, posited this, and it's been proven that our brain, everything the five senses experience, are recorded from the time you're in the womb. Our ability to recall all these things is very different for each person and very limited. But so garbage in, garbage out. Oh, $1 million. All these people that they have all these advantages. You just killed yourself.
Yeah.
You just talked yourself into poverty or mediocrity. And so I would stress to your audience: you want to be thin. You look at people that are thin. If you think it's going to be a big deal, it's going to be a big deal. Just do it. The moment you get up in the morning, that's it.
Yeah.
Do not think about it. That's it. You can't attach anything to it that's challenging, even. You can't. And it's the same thing with money and wealth. Now, you have to study a little bit about the subject matter. It's not just your will, but the will to succeed in something is accompanied by educating yourself, diving in. I don't know how you went from being a vegan to being a carnivore. I mean, you're eating carnivore bars. I mean, I never heard of anything sound so crazy, but I adore you and respect you, so
Thank you.
I'll give it a shot. But all I'm saying is you've made this huge leap. Now, you didn't just one day wake up and say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to have a hot dog. I'm going to have a porterhouse steak, right?
Right.
It's accompanied by research,
Exactly.
educating you something. In today's world, shame on you. If you want to know something, ChatGPT just came out with version 5 today. Sam Altman's on CNBC and Fox Business all day. He's going from network to network, letting you know how amazing he is and this new technology is. And it is, by the way. And if you want to learn about something, it's right there. If you want to learn about money, creating wealth, you have guys like me. You have guys like Warren Buffett. You have so many wealthy, smart guys at your fingertips. Reach out, make an effort. So one guy you called and he wanted 25,000 for the day, and that was the next, 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 next. You don't quit. You don't get discouraged. That's the key.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as discouraged. I can't stand it when somebody says, all right, I'll try.
You do or you don't.
There's no try. You do or you do not.
I love this. I totally agree. And this transcends like everything. It's financial, it's wealth, it's health, it's relationship, like it's everything. And I think like I'm so the same way. I'm very black and white. So I love that you're saying
You
this.
do or you do not. How many women young single women, they're like, oh, there's no guys. I can't find anyone. Nobody wants to. You just talked yourself out of the whole game.
Yeah.
There's a billion people out there, millions of great people looking for a partner. If that's what you want, boy, there's nothing that could be easier. Money, capital with crypto and all these secondary and tertiary markets. When I learned how to trade stocks, it was off a tape. We didn't even have computers. I had to learn how to trade looking at the trends on a tape. That's why I'm so good at it today. All these tools you have to, what? I mean, imagine dieting in the 80s. No information. They didn't know what a gram of fat, a gram of carbs. We didn't know any of these kind of things. But you know what? People made do, and you had gorgeous women and gorgeous men that were fit, that looked great, because that's the road, the path that they chose.
Mhm.
And doubt is the enemy of success. If you doubt what I'm saying, you just failed.
Yeah.
You have to know wholeheartedly. Belief is the most powerful thing in the universe. That's why manifestation works, and it works. But you have to manifest harder than me, because I manifest. I pray hard. I wrote a book called Rock Solid. It's available. Go to rossmandell.com. I have a book for sale, The Wealth Formula. That's the most comprehensive business program ever produced. Go to rossmandell.com. You can buy, it's $300. I give you $5,000 worth of documents that you would need to form any company, any LLC, any legal entity, onshore, offshore, in any one of the 50 states or territories, etc. But the point I make to you is that everything is available to you. So it's just about making a decision.
Yeah,
That's, I think, Delaney, the biggest problems.
I love this.
People can't make decisions.
It's true. And they can't stick to their decisions. I know so many people who have good ideas, but they stay in the ether. I'm like, if you don't take it, somebody else is going to. You just have to
You
do
have
it
to.
and
That's
try.
another. That's a next step. Is executing.
Yeah.
You make a decision. Okay, now what? You got to have a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Hmm.
I'm a big planner. I make a pad every day. I wake up. I don't have to think. I don't have to feel. I don't feel like doing it. Feelings are not facts. Feelings lie. Some mornings I experience all four seasons in my head before I even open my eyes. I'm up, I'm down, I'm wishy washy, I'm not sure. It's the fall. Feelings lie to you. You ever feel like crap and then you go to the gym? I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't feel good. You go to the gym and you have the best workout.
Yep.
Feelings are not facts. You know, get overwhelmed by feelings. Can't get overwhelmed by a fact.
It's true.
Overwhelmed is a feeling that lies to you. So I have a pad everywhere in my house. Pads, day, week, month. Yeah, I'm constantly accountability. It's not enough to make a decision. It's not enough to execute. You have to become accountable, not to your wife, not to your kids, not to your mentor, to yourself. So you have to be able to take an inventory. Every once in a while, you got to do an inventory. I know men that have these businesses. They could tell you on what shelf, what store. They got 30 stores. They're in all these different states, what time zones, this, that, the other. And they can't tell you a thing about how they feel about things, about their finances, about various other things. They spend so much time inventorying stuff and they don't inventory important things. They don't hold themselves accountable. The guys that are always starting diets over and over again, you ever go out for dinner with people and they can't, it takes them 25 minutes to figure out what they want to have for an entree.
Hmm.
Indecision will cost you more money than bad decision. We're talking about capital today, wealth, money, right? Indecision will cripple you financially much more than a bad decision will.
You can always bounce back from a bad decision, but indecision will keep you stuck.
When you trade, when you buy things or sell things, uh, these are what we call trade. This is trading. I bought something at 8. Why'd you buy it? Well, I thought it would give me a benefit. I thought maybe I could sell it at 10 or 9, or if I held it, it'd be worth 20, whatever it is. Your first loss is always your best loss. Cut, move on. You make a bad decision, you cut it, you move forward. Same thing in a relationship, I hate to say. How many men and women, I've been seeing her on and off for 8 years. What does that mean, on or off? You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
you can't really move forward if you're carrying your dirty laundry with you. You
Hmm.
can't, because you're not really moving forward. You're sort of kind of moving forward. And so being decisive, executing, being accountable, these are just words, but these are really important actions. So you wake up every morning and you say, I want to have $1,000,000. You put that on a pad. Okay, that's 12 months. So if you want to do it in a year or 2 years, do you have a time frame, or is it just this endless, symphony of noise in your head? So, I started with $1,500. I never even thought I could have $1,000,000. I never even thought about it. I just thought, how can I make money tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm so excited from chatting about this right now. When I get out of here, I want to see how I can make some money. I'm
I
just
love
being
that.
honest with you. I'm being very straight. This is how people that earn real money and control real capital accomplish that.
Yeah. No, I love this. And I see this. This is like really the similar philosophy with me and like even social media, right? In my job. And I talk to a lot of girls who want to do what I'm doing. And I'm like, you have to be strategic. You have to think through these things. Like, even, I mean, every bit I do, it's authentic. I'm truly am eating steak in the pool. But all these little things I'm doing are strategic. I know it's going to grow me. I do these, like it's like an almost psychotic level of like strategy involved in growth if you want to grow anything. And like you kind of have to tap into that little psycho who is like firmly believing that you can do it, firmly like addicted to growth, and like there's a level of like delusion, but in the best way, where it till it doesn't
Determination.
become delusion. Yeah.
You're determined.
Yeah.
You're using different words like psychotic and delusional. You're determined. Do you
Yeah. It's a
truly
better word.
want to have a big podcast? Do you truly want to make $1 million plus a year from doing social media and podcasting? Do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that you're determined to do that, to make that happen. And you're going to, Delaney.
Thank you. I believe it.
Let me tell you a secret. You're going to.
Thank you.
If you're determined to do that. I was talking to my ex-wife this morning on my way over here because somehow we found each other online, and I told my team I wanted a podcast with Delaney, and they, it's like everything else in life. If it wasn't their idea, it might not be great.
Yeah.
If it's their idea, there's not even a discussion. It's just about how great it's going to be. So when I introduced the concept, and so whatever, we went back and forth, and I was like talking about coming here, and I've been following you, and I had a feeling from you when I just watched your stuff, and I think we spoke on the phone one day. I said, "Don't take it wrong. This chick's got it. Whatever it is, she's got it. But none of that matters if you don't execute." Next week you'll be going on a soul searching thing in India to you know what I mean? I mean, everybody's, over time things are revealed. But this is the right industry and something really great. I don't know if I sent it to you. It was a post somebody made about Tom Cruise. He's on the left, 53 years old. He's worth like 400 million. On the right, Mr. Beast. He's 23. He's worth zero. And within 5 years, Tom Cruise is up to $750 million. And this is 60. Now he's 60 or whatever. 5 frames. It's a carousel, I call, right? And I just learned that. And Mr. Beast is now a billionaire. He's 28.
Wow.
And the reason is Tom Cruise, movies, television, Mr. Beast, YouTube, unregulated, the new media. And that tells the whole story of what we're pursuing. So I sent it out to everybody. Hopefully I sent it to you. But I just it was something that really caught my eye because that is what we're doing now. This is the Wild West. The
really is.
world, the social media world. And I love when I see people and they say, "Oh, you're podcasting?" Everybody's podcasting. Oh, really? Because I study any space I get into because I am now a sort of a tried and proven product. And I know how to build companies. My last company was worth $350 million, and I made over $100 million. So to make a long story short, really, there's 1,000 podcasters. And there's 350 million people in America, 330, but at our last census 10 years ago. 8 billion people on the planet. There's not even 3,000 podcasters in the world. This is brand new. And how many people have 100 episodes? That seems to be the magic number. And then, look at Instagram, right? So I'm at 89,000 followers. And everybody has told me at 50,000 organic followers, 90% of the people that you see have paid for followers.
Yep.
Paid for engagement. And when that happens, the algorithm basically kicks you out. And now you're stuck. And I got that from one of the founders of Facebook. One of the top 10 first 10 founders of Facebook. The guy I grew up with. He manages $5 billion in a fund, mostly his own money.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is at 100,000 followers, organic, you're very rare on something like Instagram. So, and I'm approaching that number completely organic, just from waking up every day and saying, how can I get more followers today? How can I please my following and attract new followers? And, once you get to a certain point, the algorithm starts helping you, which they start talking to you, windows open up to give you new data, new insights, all these new different things. So at some point, the platforms come to you and say, you know what? Appreciate what you're doing. Now we're going to help you a little.
Yeah.
And so I see that happening now on YouTube and on Instagram and all the different every platform we're getting from everybody now. But for when I first got out of prison and I started this, even my family laughed at me. Dad, you're 67 years old. You're going to be an influencer? Dad, you don't even have 10,000 followers.
You said, okay, I'll build it.
You haven't posted in 10 years anything. They laughed at me. And they refused to be in any pictures with me, any posts with me. I couldn't do any video with them. I'm being candid with you. I never said this publicly. And today, they all follow me. Their friends follow me. And we're together, we do videos, we do stories and posts and pictures and all that. And so they went from being non-believers. I mean, how many influencers are there over 65 years old?
Not a
too
lot.
many. I can name like two. But listen though, there's a lot of people now on social media over 65. Guess what? I'm gonna grab them all.
Yeah, they need someone to follow too. They're not gonna always follow Wellness with Delaney, 27 years old. Like, they want something more relatable.
Well, I never asked you how old you were, but I think I just got that answer.
Yeah.
And you're 27 and perfect, and you're gonna be a multimillionaire pursuing this dream of yours. I just want you to know that.
Thank
Whatever
you. I
it is,
believe
you
it.
got it. But
I
you got
receive
to
it.
make,
Thank you.
some days you probably want to, you know, throw your phone against the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's work. People don't realize it's effort. I shouldn't say work. I don't like that word, but it requires a lot of effort.
It's effort. And I think a lot of it, even I know personally speaking, where because I got into this really because I care about people getting healthy, and that, like, when I lose connection to wanting to post on social media and wanting to create, I tap into that connection of, like, why am I doing this? And that honestly keeps me going more than anything else, more than the money, more than the growth, like, knowing the purpose. Like, I want to help as many people as I can break through the matrix the way I have. And that right there is, like, at the core of it all.
Your why. Now you had bad skin, I'm guessing, right? I think you posted that.
I
I
did
saw a
really
picture.
bad skin.
I couldn't even look.
It was bad. I was so sick.
And they give you birth control pills, right? For the hormone modification.
They gave me birth control, spironolactone, tretinoin, like, antibiotics, all of it. Nothing worked.
Right. I've heard other women tell this a similar story because you have beautiful skin. I mean, it
Thank
comes
you.
across like what? That's when I said, what did she mean bad skin? You probably had one pimple in your whole life.
Oh, no. That's where it's like, I was not the girl that grew up and was perfect my whole life. And that's like, I think that's honestly now my superpower, where when I went through it, it was the trenches and I hated it. And I hated that I struggled with my weight. I hated that I couldn't put on muscle. I hated that my skin looked so bad. But all of those things made me successful now because I can speak to the women who are struggling with that because I've been there. And I think that, like, a struggle, having an origin story that isn't perfect and isn't unblemished is a superpower.
I believe that it's and your belief, your commitment. I mean, to be a vegan for all those years, veganism is tough.
Mhm.
I think it's tough. I had a partner, a stockbroker that worked for me that was very obsessed with food. He tended to be heavy. He was like 275, 280 pounds. He was only like 5'7", and fat. He used to perspire a lot. And he was very successful. These guys making a couple $100,000 a month working for me. And then one day he comes in and he becomes a vegetarian, and then he becomes a vegan, and then he's fussy. Basically, we go to the fanciest steak restaurants in the world, and you get like a head of lettuce all chopped up.
Cauliflower steak.
It was like, I was like, what? And today he weighs like 150 pounds, and he runs marathons all over the world, and he's making millions every month now. And I'm so proud to see him posting. Adam Harrington, a little shout out, proud of you, bro. and he's a good father. He's got 3 sons, and they travel the world and they run races, but they're all very, very, cognizant and aware of weight, because that was an issue for him until he came and made a decision and held himself accountable and executed on that. So we talk about accumulating wealth. It's a lot easier than anybody would think. It's a lot easier. It just has to become a primary focus. People that accumulate real wealth, when they see, they don't want to spend money. Warren Buffett drives like a 25-year-old car. Charlie Munger, his partner, who helped build this Berkshire Hathaway, this top investment firm since 1960 in the world. They're worth close to $1 trillion. 25-year-old car. They're obsessed with seeing the bank statement. Obsessed. And, I went through that period when I was building. I was obsessed every day watching my stock account. And when I wanted to buy something, I wanted to buy a new Mercedes, or I had to buy my wife, I bought my wife a house, this and that. I'd be like, oh God. And I would watch my balance go down. And I'd be like, oh, it's like I just got shot with a gun, because it becomes your thing. Like people that diet and, they get on the scale and they're 140 and they go down to 126, and all of a sudden they're 128 and a half. They're like, what? I mean, like it's a rough thing. And like with me, my weight's juggled up and down because it's never been all that important to me. Except one time in my life, I was going to, I got up to a 40 waist, and I'm 5'9". And at 40, I said, that's it. I'm never buying a pair of 40 pants, 40 jeans, never. So now I'm walking around at a 34, and I'm comfortable where I'm at, and I've learned how to juggle that. But it's never been that important to me. But
Mhm.
being a star with capital, understanding how to accumulate wealth, how to teach people and show them. I'm mentoring a bunch of men and some women now, and they can't believe how quick they're getting results, financial results. Like they can't believe it. But it's because they never had a guide. So if I was trying if we didn't have roads and GPS and maps and cars back in the days when we were first forging America, and we were on a coast, and you heard about the West, Great West, how the hell are you you'd have to hire somebody to guide you to California through America, the rivers and the mountains and the valleys and the deserts. I mean, it's a big country. It's a lot like that, navigating the capital markets.
Yeah.
I actually made it my job. I said, I don't want to work. I just want to have money. I want to hang out with Delaney and go to the club and eat the best food and have the greatest car and go anywhere in the world without thinking about it. I've never looked at a price ever on a menu. And I said, I want to go down to Wall Street. They trade $3 trillion every single day. I don't want to work. Some guys are lucky. Some people are lucky. They always wanted to be in fashion, or they always wanted to be in a kitchen because they're culinary people. And some people just love to argue in a courtroom. They just fancy themselves that way. Where some people are scholarly and they want to be in universities and have that life. And other people pursue science, and engineers build bridges. And I just wanted to party and spend money. And so in order to do that, I had to have money.
Yeah.
So I said, let me go down to the heart of the matter. And so that's where I got my education. But going back to the old West and all, if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to have a guide. And somebody would say, Delaney, listen, we got to go take this route, and we got to go this way and that way. And, you got there. If you had the right guide, right? You got through this morass of forest and the hills and the mountains, and we had stagecoaches, right? You had to know where to eat, where there would be plants, so you could have food along the way. We didn't have refrigerators. We didn't have carnivore bars in the 1800s.
Shout out to Carnivore Bars.
Shout out. And so you would trust a guide who would navigate a wilderness. So if you really do not understand money, business, and most important, the capital markets, because if you're starting with very little, you need to find a multiplier. So let's just say you want to be very popular and famous. You want to have a big podcast, right? Well, if I just start, put a microphone in my basement and invite all the neighbors in, all right. So as many neighbors I get would follow my podcast. But if I want to amplify that message, I'm going to go and find a social media platform and see if I can't convince people to follow me. So they'll convince people and the word will get out and then the algorithms do the rest. And that's virality.
Mhm.
So if you only have a small amount of money, if you don't have, let's say, millions of your own family money to put in so you could start putting that money to work. If you're starting out as a pedestrian, you got a few $1,000s, a few $100s, you have to find a multiplier effect. The concept of virality is easier for me to explain today to your generation because you have the internet, social media, Facebook. What? People go, I don't even know half these people. I got 2,000 followers.
Mhm.
I don't even know 1,000. I don't know 1,500 of them. Well, guess what? I got 100,000. I only know a few, but I do know a few thousand. I've been around a long time. But the multiplier effect of social media, I'm trying to explain because I have a team of young people that I've explained this to. The stock market is the greatest example of virality, a multiplier effect.
Yeah.
If we can get into a stock that pretty soon the world is going to know is the only chips that can build an AI business, NVIDIA, because this brilliant CEO was providing chips for gamers, video gamers. You didn't need chips that had that sort of potency until now, all of a sudden, the AI craze.
Mhm.
And that's why the stock went from 20 to 1,000, split 10 for one. It's back to 180 and it's about to go back to 1,000. I'm letting everybody know. If you don't own NVIDIA, Palantir, Microsoft, Tesla, you're a dope. Bitcoin and Ethereum going to the moon. If that's all you put some money in, Delaney, you're 27. By the time you're 30, you just made a boatload of money. And if you have a guide and you know the right products to get into, because some products are heavily leveraged. So if you only have to get $1,000 and something doubles, now you have 2,000. That's good, but it's only 2,000. But if you have a good reason to believe something is special, and you have 1,000, and you buy that product, instead of getting 2,000, you get 12,000. Those are options and leaps and
Mhm.
all kinds of other derivatives that you don't even know exist if you're not a guy to the capital markets. And
Yeah.
nobody teaches these things. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I was indicted wrongfully by the government
Yeah.
and I was in prison wrongfully. And they took away, you know, I'll tell you $65 million of real money and
Wow.
hundreds of millions of dollars of opportunity for me. Mostly everybody at my level is sitting on a private island somewhere, Palm Beach, Palm Springs, private jets. They're not sharing any information with anybody.
Right. They're gatekeeping all of it.
Right. That's what's the point? Why would I? Most of the guys you see online and on the internet are just hacks. They're hacks.
Yeah.
They never made real money in the real world. They're making it selling you nonsense on social media.
Mhm.
They did make a lot of money that way, selling you nonsense on social media. And I come across a lot of these pros, but I was worth hundreds of millions of dollars long before social media. Front page
Right.
of newspapers, Forbes list, newspapers, magazines. So the point is that if you know the right, if you have the right guide, you'll get there. The only reason I'm doing this is because I have a chip on my shoulder, what they took away from me. So I'm
Right.
I'm I'm opening up, I'm unveiling secrets. But obviously I have people that pay me to be a guide and become a member of my little community. I'm building a real community, a real media company, and I'm
Mhm.
doing it in front of the world. And it's very as you know, when you have a great podcast and you post a clip and all of a sudden you start getting like, I have one clip that's going viral right now, 137,000 views. More people are sharing it than even liking it. I can't figure that out. But it's a great feeling, isn't it?
It's a great feeling. Oh, yeah.
You found something that was entertaining to enough people, but educational enough that they want to share it with their friends.
Yeah.
That turns me on a lot. I get excited from that.
Oh, same. It's so exciting to see when you see those shares too, you're like, wow, this is impactful enough that people are like they want others to see it. And that is it's really gratifying. Either that or they're making fun of me, but I'm gonna believe that they want other people to see it.
That's part of being entertaining.
Oh
I know a
yeah.
lot of people make fun of me. A lot of people call me names and stuff. But I'm still waiting. I haven't had any haters lately in a long time. But I was
Yeah.
on the show American Greed. They
Yeah.
did a story on my life called "The Sky's the Limit." I'm the finale of season 9. I was the founder of Sky Capital, Sky Holdings, Sky Enterprise, Sky Bank, and so that's why it's called "The Sky's the Limit." I used the name Sky because my first my oldest daughter, my firstborn, was Skylar. So we used the name Sky to honor her. And look, I ended up having to deal with all this shit. So when that came out, my family had to get off social media altogether. People talk about the negative aspects of social media. And, there's a lot of bullying and people use it for nefarious things like sex trafficking and grooming
Yeah.
and drug dealing and all these different things. And so part of Raw Health is we're launching our own social media platform. We have a whole social media platform that was actually developed in a partnership with the FBI, and there'll be no bullying, and everybody gets scored for positive or negative. And if once you get a certain score, you bounced out. If you're negative, if you're attempting to groom, a young child or an
Wow.
underage minor, if you're an older man, whatever, if you're up to no good. And we came up with a scoring system. I didn't do it. It's a brilliant thing, but I'm acquiring it. And people come to me now with great stuff because they believe that I can help get it out there. I can amplify.
Yeah.
Just like when a brand comes to you, and they say, Delaney, those carnivore bars are special. And the idea of building wealth, you have to understand, is simple. Morons are wealthy. You'll see that if you start to live in that world.
Yeah.
Some of the stupidest people accumulate fortunes because there's a way to do it. There's a mindset you need. There's a belief you need, and you have to have a desire. Some
Yeah.
people don't care. They just want to have a small house in a nice mediocre neighborhood and drive an average car and go out to dinner to a price conscious restaurant and all these different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, you know what I mean? God bless you. You're blessed. And I don't criticize anybody, and I never judge anybody. Never judge. Who am I to judge anybody? I don't know anything. But I do know my way through the markets.
Hmm.
And social media, I'm finding, is very similar to the capital markets.
Yeah.
It's really, really similar. And my plan is to introduce the virality of the stock market to the virality of social media.
I love this connection. How do people join your mentorship, your program?
So I have a website, ross@rossmandell.com, my name, and info@rossmandell.com. My team
Yeah.
responds to all kinds of emails every day. I'm on social media. DMing me is always a great thing to do. Ross Mandell on Instagram, Threads. The Real Ross Mandell is my YouTube channel. I do podcasts. We post 2 every week. I'm on Spotify and I'm on every 14 or 15 of all the platforms that are relevant for podcasting. TikTok, Ross Mandell, my name. I own the URL rossmandell.com. Pretty soon you'll see rawmediaofficial.com, but that's not up yet. So, I'm building, I like to say one brick at a time. That's how they built Rome.
Yeah.
You know
Very
what I'm
true.
saying? And we have a mentorship program, a mastermind program. I have books for sale. I have the Wealth Formula, which is really the most incredible business program ever put out. I believe it'll be in every MBA, Ivy League university at some point soon, because it's the most comprehensive ever produced. I'm proud of that. And you'll just keep seeing me posting,
Yeah.
grinding away, one
Love
one
that.
post at a time.
Love that so much. Well, everyone, make sure you follow Ross. And if you are interested in building your wealth in a new way, and this is also new to you, make sure you check out his program. It's a really great way for you to just receive the resources and insights for you to take your wealth to the next level and undo some of those belief systems that have been holding you back. Ross, before we run out of time, I love to ask everyone, what is your biggest health goal?
What is my biggest health goal? Okay, so obviously it's tied to longevity because I'm
Sure.
already 68 years old. And now there's a whole new body of medicine they call anti-aging medicine.
Hmm.
So, we all die. Everybody knows that. But not everybody suffers. So I'm trying my best to live a healthy, robust life.
I love that.
So I've been doing intermittent fasting. I eat pretty much nothing, and then I'll have a window coming up, or I'll eat for maybe 2 or 3 hours. I'll consume whatever I want. But I'm going for meat today in honor of Delaney.
I love it.
I'm honoring you today. It's
Thank
the
you.
Delaney kind of day, and I go to the gym. When you get a little bit older, I used to do a lot of crazy. I was a fighter. I did MMA and was a wrestler when I was a kid, and boxing, and 6 years of MMA training. A lot of powerlifting and weightlifting. I'm trying to be intelligent about the way I conduct myself in the gym because I'm prone to injury.
Yeah.
I overdo things. What a shock! And so I walking on a treadmill with a steep angle. I try to do that at least once or twice a week and really get my metabolism going. The intermittent fasting is so healthy. It
Yeah.
just makes sense. 90% of the energy in your body is consumed by digestion. So if you limit digestion to a few hours a day, then your body heals. The body is a self-healing mechanism.
Hmm.
What God gave us, man has he still not been able to duplicate.
Yeah.
Someone says, what does that mean? I take a knife and I cut your arm. Man still can't figure out how to get that skin to grow back.
Yeah.
It just does.
It
Yeah,
just
we could
does.
staple it and stitch it and bring it so there's less scarring. But but our bodies, the minds that we were blessed with, uh, with self healing.
Yeah.
So I try to put myself now in a position where my body can use its energy for healing, so that I feel better and I can do better in the course of my life. And so I just want to try and feel as well as I can. When I was 27, I felt great all the time. Not everybody does. So you got to be mindful today of all these great things.
Hmm.
I mean, I just want to ask you one question if I can.
Sure. Yeah, of
So you
course.
were vegan for quite a long period of time,
Yeah.
not like 5 minutes,
Right.
5 years.
Yeah.
And you must have felt pretty good along the way. Otherwise, like, why would you persist? I don't know.
Yeah.
But now you're a carnivore in an odd sense. You really you just what's the right word? I don't know. But
I say animal based, but yeah, I mean, whatever people want to say. I try not to confuse people too much.
you eat chicken,
A little bit, not a ton. I'm honestly doing mostly red meat.
red meat. Okay. And I understand the reasoning. I do, believe it or not. And you eat vegetables, like you eat string beans, or you eat vegetables with that, or
Very rarely. I will occasionally eat certain vegetables, but I'm very picky on
tell us
which
what
ones.
vegetables.
I do carrots. And so I do carrots because I like raw carrot salad with apple cider vinegar to absorb excess estrogen. So for me,
Wow.
I'm focusing a lot on progesterone. So that's something I like to do. I like fruit. I don't do really any
What kind
cruciferous.
of fruit? What kind of fruit?
I like citrus. So I've been on a big kick of doing like I juice oranges and put them with coconut water and sea salt. It's a great adrenal
Say it
mocktail.
one more time.
Citrus like oranges. So I do this drink with oranges, coconut water, and sea salt for my
Wow.
adrenals. And then I like berries. I haven't been doing like bananas and highly fermentable, like highly starchy fruit. So really like berries and citrus are my go-to. Also pineapple because it's anti-parasitic and I eat so much meat, often very raw. So I like pineapple.
Pineapple.
I'm a
So the
big fan.
meat you eat, do you eat any greens with that? Like you don't eat romaine lettuce
Occasionally,
or
I'll
that's
eat
okay.
romaine or arugula,
Seasoned
but
salad? No?
Occasionally, like, I'll eat it if I'm out, and that's the thing is at home, I might just eat a steak,
Right, I
but if
get
I'm
that.
out yeah, if I'm out, I'm a little bit more lenient, but I will not touch, like, dark leafy greens like kale, chard spinach, I'm not touching broccoli, things like that, and so
Why
if I
not?
eat
Why not?
because a lot of these things are very high in plant toxins like oxalates, so they can attach to, like, your minerals in your body, steal minerals from your diet, from your tissue, and so then for somebody like me, where my background, a lot of my issues were very autoimmune related, it can increase that. Also, a lot of plants that have like high lectins, which are they're basically plant protective mechanisms that
Mhm.
they don't want to be eaten, right? They don't want to be consumed by
I
predators. So
get it.
the lectins like protect the plant. And so nightshades are a good example of plants with a lot of lectins or grains. And so because my background is like highly autoimmune, why I like suffered so much as a vegan, I try to avoid high lectin plants. So really my philosophy is like as low of toxins and as many benefits, but I'm very I'm not eating my big salad, right? If I'm having a little vegetables, it might be like a little side sometimes, but that's where I say like carnivore
No, no
adjacent,
potatoes, no potatoes?
very rarely. If I eat a potato, it might be a sweet potato just 'cause I really like them.
Right,
But not often at all.
okay. Um, and you how long have you been doing this now, this diet?
Not that long, so I stopped being vegan in 2022. And
Okay.
it was a slow trajectory. It started with seafood and then I think raw dairy and eggs and then red meat. And I started getting into biohacking a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that's when I started learning about plant toxins. And I would say in the past year is when I went really hardcore on the animal based.
So about a year.
Hmm.
How do you feel?
Amazing. So much better than I've ever felt. And I feel like I look my best. And that's also like, it's all connected.
I understand that, but, like, I if you have to say you feel better, in what way do you feel better?
I think the biggest one is more energy. So
Mm,
I developed hypothyroidism on veganism. And so I would get really bad, like adrenal fatigue. My energy crashes would happen like every day mid afternoon. I think the biggest thing is I couldn't pursue any of my dreams because I didn't have the energy to do it.
I get
I
it.
was so tired. And so energy is a really big one for me, a huge one. Um, the ability to like put on muscle, all of that. Also, not getting bloated. I used to get so bloated when I would eat because there's all these like plant heavy, carb heavy meals. And I felt like 6 months pregnant every time I ate. And so it was the worst. I would get like stomach pain, bloat, all of that. And so now being able to eat a meal and then feel good, wear a tight outfit, whatever, it doesn't matter because I feel good after being able to like have the energy to pursue my goals is huge to hit my workouts. And then another one obviously is skin. Adopting an animal-based diet, like I've it's helped so much with so many skin conditions from acne to eczema to even just like hydrating my skin so I literally feel better.
Now you're married, correct?
I am.
And how does your husband feel about this dramatic change, right? Because
Yeah. I think he likes it. I mean,
he
I did
wasn't a
not
vegan, was he?
no, but I mean, by proxy, ate a lot of vegan food because
Poor
if I
guy.
was the one cooking it, and he like didn't complain, like he had meat in the house. He's like, if you want it, you can cook it. But he definitely likes this. I think he sometimes is like, you are so intense because everything I do it like wholeheartedly. I do it with my chest, right?
Right.
And so I think there's a level where he's like, dang, you're intense. But he definitely prefers when I cook him a giant steak than when I would cook him like sweet potato everything, right? Or like
Right.
vegetable everything. He's
I
definitely
get it.
preferring it.
Interesting. Yeah. You know, I we didn't have all this information, when I was growing up, but, Dr. Atkins came out with his Atkins diet, and
Oh, yeah.
that sort of it was brilliant. And I actually paid $1,500 and spent 5 days at his home.
Wow.
He had like a mentorship thing, and we all learned about the Atkins diet, and I was heavily into that. I still fall back on that, but I'll tell you, when you're eating meat and you're doing anything in the gym, boy, you're strong and you feel like you can conquer the world and
Yeah.
you have endless energy. I mean, so I applaud you.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's crazy the energy. I mean, honestly, like meat and eggs plus shout out to Dr. Nathan Bryan, nitric oxide in the morning, magic for
He
workouts.
changed my life.
He's
Dr.
amazing.
Brian changed my life. I
Amazing
had him in the
man.
studio here. He flew in.
I love that. Yeah. So
I love
big shout
Nathan.
out.
He sent me all
Yeah,
this stuff, and you know what? It works.
it works. Oh
This
my
nitric
gosh.
oxide, I must have been so depleted. I take his
Yeah.
lozenge every 2 a day, one in the
Yeah.
morning, one at night.
Same. I love it. And that's helped me tackle my workouts and have so much energy as well. And like,
What a
I
guy.
mean, yeah, what a guy. Incredible, incredible
So
invention.
brilliant.
1000%. I love to see it. I love to see people just really owning their craft, owning their industry, and that's what I'm all about, kind of like what you're doing. So yeah, no, I really appreciate this conversation, and I appreciate the way you've laid out so many of the mindset shifts, so many of just like the first steps for people. I know people want to make their first million. They want to be successful, they want to be wealthy, but they don't know where to start. And I think this episode is a really good launching pad for people to start shifting the way they view wealth, the way they view generating wealth, and the way they start to execute. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with this audience.
And remember, you can't want to make your first million. You're
You have to do
going
it.
to get your first million.
I love it. I love it so much. It's
It's
important.
all here.
I love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, you guys, if you love this episode, please make sure to share it on your stories, tag Ross Mandell and myself, and let's get this word out there. If you want to become a millionaire, this is the episode for you. Make sure you check out Ross's program. It is going to launch you financially and just in your own success in your industry. So, guys, thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you soon.